So in this section, in this learning, we will talk about adjusting or setting up chart of accounts. So what happens is on Xero, there is a standard chart of accounts like sales, purchases, marketing, bank fees, salary. There are certain transactions that's obvious for certain businesses. So you can use the standard Xero chart of accounts as well. Also, if you're really keen, you can put some additional expenses that's specific for your industry or for your business that works. You still can put that in. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through and show the chart of accounts. So you go to accounting and advanced. So in this advanced, so there are some transactions that I have started. So that just comes along. So you can just click chart of accounts here, or you can just go to advanced because I have started, it comes there. Click chart of accounts. So these are all the chart of accounts that's available in your business. Anything that has a locked thing there, so you can't delete it or you can't archive it because that's obvious for a lot of businesses, light, power, and heating. So these are all set up by Xero originally. And yeah, so that's the all accounts. So you've got, so you've got assets. It says what sort of type, bank account or current assets, inventory, and all the fixed assets for that particular client or business. And then you've got liabilities on the other hand, accounts payable. So it says the tax rate as well. So you can set that up. So accounts payable and all of that doesn't have unpaid wages payable, accrued liabilities, GST, pay as you go withhold, super, income tax, certain revenue we received in advance becomes a liability as well. So that's the liabilities, and then equity. If it's a company, retained earnings and the owner's share capital. And this is the expenses in your profit and loss you can add. And then we've got revenue as well. So if certain things you don't want to use it, you can still click and delete or archive. In case if you archive, you can't use them. And certain things that's on archive, you still can click and restore. And you've got that option. And then if you really want to add a new bank account, you can click on that, put the bank details, and it'll just add a new bank account. Because for this one, there's saving and there's one other main bank. So at the end of the month or quarterly, you will need to make sure that all the banks are reconciled, so all the transactions are reflecting. So for this example, I'm going to show you how to add an expense, so that you know what I'm talking about. So you can decide where you want to put it, if it's a current asset or fixed asset, equity or things. So ideally, the profit and loss stuff here should be expenses there. And then you can decide a unique code. I'm going to go 444 and then check if that code is available. Okay, 444 is available. Sometimes certain codes here that's already there might say that it's not available. So you have to use another one. So here I'm just going to say I'm just running a branding business. So pay influencer payment, hiring influencers. So these are all unique stuff that your particular business might have. So I'm just going to say hiring influencer. And if it's optional, guys, if you want a description, you can just put Fiverr, you're looking for some people or things, and then decide GST, if you're paying GST for them. So if they're charging you, so I'd say GST on expenses. So there's GST in it. And so if you, this is the option where I was showing earlier, if you want to put that in the dashboard, so you know every time you look at, okay, for influencers I've paid, okay, this amount of money, this much, and it just makes a bit more tidy. And and then you save it, and that account will be in expenses. So 444 should be somewhere here. Hiring influencers. GST on expense amount is 0 because there's no amount allocated for it. And if you want to delete a transaction, you can't delete it if there is any amount. Only if it's 0 you can delete it. So so that's about the transaction. The good thing about is Xero has its own standard transactions. So there's nothing much you need to add on top, unless if you want to add few bank accounts. So that's also pretty easy. And then if you have the account set up differently in a different software, you can import them. There's another CSV and all of that. So I don't think you would need to work on that for now. If you have questions, guys, about that, just put it on the comment section. I will address you and I will explain you how to do that. So it's just gonna be another easy step. And if you want, you can export that as well. So that's about chart of accounts. Going to your certification thing. Again, it explains everything you need to know: the bank account, the chart of accounts, and how you add a new account, where you want to add that to, and yep. So there's marketing and all of that, and then deleting an archive and then restoring that particular transaction, and then answer the questions. Okay, so that's about the chart of accounts. And then we've got import transactions, not really necessary. And I will touch base on what is conversion balances. So if someone's migrating from a different accounting software, so you might need to put a conversion balance. So, okay, you've got $5,000 in your bank, but when you come to Xero, when you start, it's not going to say $5,000 because it's new, it doesn't know. So then you need to make sure that you set up certain conversion balances according to your previous accounting software. How much money the bank has, how much liabilities you need to pay, where are the loans, who are the people you need to pay loans to, and what is the closing amount on that, and the income so far for that particular year, and the expenses. So that's about setting up the conversion balances. So you need to have some sort of an idea about it, but you will never come across this. When you do the learning, guys, you just can read about it, but you will never come across in the real world. It's very rare. And then again, comma conversion balances mistakes, you still can play around changing them. And then we've got a separate thing that you need to know about: Xero filing systems, where you can save folders and files and things like that. I'm gonna touch base on that a little bit.